Hey Manish, how are you? Just wanted to check in with you, get an update on the whole private 5G market because there is an awful lot of news about it this year of one type or another. And I think there's some confusion about what it really is. And I'm interested in what it means to Ericsson.
Part of it has to do with how cellular technology has evolved and for whom it was built originally, and how do we make it suitable for enterprise customers. And part of it has to do with any new technology that comes into the enterprise. It goes through multiple phases and it has to mature to gain widespread horizontal adoption in the enterprise. And when you're talking about nationwide kind of networks, and the costs of all of these people, the services portion, and everything can be absorbed when you have networks that are pretty large. Uh, when you come into enterprise, on the other hand, the same operating model of wanting to depend on a lot of services, a lot of integration efforts, a lot of people being involved in making every deployment happen does not work at scale.
What helps us accelerate the process of deployment of private 5G in vertical industry then?
When you start in the enterprise, the first phase is all about showing ROI and showing business value that is tied to specific use cases. And therefore, whoever is bringing this into the market has to take the responsibility of taking making the use cases possible, right? So which means a lot of system integration, a lot of customization, making sure the edge compute, the application, the end user devices, everything comes together in making that use case possible.
How do we make it faster? Is it an API challenge? Is it a ecosystem challenge? Is it a blueprint that everybody has to share in each ecosystem? How do we do that?
uh, The ROI is proven across every vertical. There are customers who are deploying globally. There are customers who are scaling. The time to sell, the time to do the POC, the time to do the first site deployment, and the time to realize ROI is shrinking. So that sort of leads us to what's the right way to think about this business. Is it a component business or is it a systems business? And my perspective is that it's a systems business, just like every other enterprise networking technology that exists. Now, systems play does not mean that there's a lot of manual work needed or systems integration needed. All it means is the value prop has to be such that it can fit into an existing enterprise infrastructure seamlessly and deliver the use cases and ROI without a lot of manual work.
I mean, who ultimately owns and monetizes the private network relationship?
I think everybody, of course, the enterprise needs to have a strong ROI, otherwise, nothing works. The end customer is the enterprise, and they are not necessarily deploying this network because they are enamored with 5G. They are deploying this network because there is a business problem that gets solved by this technology better than any other option that exists. In some cases, they get that ROI better by working through an operator. In another scenario, if an enterprise has multiple countries in which they are present and they are wanting to create a blueprint that gets deployed in these multiple countries, they might benefit from working with a global systems integrator. And then we see a third set, which is enterprises who say that, hey, we have the competence in house, or we want to build the competence in house and we want to manage this on our own. And that puts a lot of requirements on the product. You need to provide the right kind of tools, you need to provide the right kind of workflows, you need to build AI into the product. You need to do a lot of things to make the product reach a stage where the enterprise can manage this on their own.
You guys are comfortable with ambiguity in this market, right? I mean, you're comfortable with the idea that many different things are happening all at once everywhere around the world. I find that quite interesting.
There are a set of new use cases that appear every year or every alternate year. And those use cases become highly valuable use cases for the enterprise, and they are better solved on private 5G. So, industrial automation is one example of that. AGVs is another example of that. Enterprising embracing AI is another example of that. Every journey starts with 3 to 5 use cases, and 2 years later, if you look back, you will see that there's a lot of data coming on the network, there's a lot of use cases, there's a lot of devices, and everyone goes through that journey. URLLC, the latency keeps going down, there's a need for larger cells, there's a need for more mobility, roaming. So these are all good things that have been built into the 5G standard, but now we are seeing them getting adopted at scale in the enterprise environments. And that's what distinguishes private 5G from other wireless technologies, that we can support this customization of the RF and supporting different kinds of use cases and new sets of latency requirements, bounded latency requirements, high mobility requirements coming from a new set of devices that were not possible in the wireless network so far.
It's very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Barcelona. I know that you're going to actually have some of these applications running in the legendary Ericsson booth.
I mean, 2026, actually, we have a lot of good stuff coming. So I'm looking forward to that.